So last month we ran a test run of ads for a coaching company I'm working with. We spent $900 and made 23,500 back in cash collected, with about $5,000 still to come in from payment plans and stuff. And I've just been sat here. It's a nice morning. I'm in Argentina, and the sun's coming up. I've just been writing down some of the lessons I learned so I can apply it to this company again in the future, so we can just really scale things, and also future clients that I work with, and also my own business as well. So the first thing that I've noticed from the success here is copy what's working, then iterate. And a lot of what we've done, honestly, has just been copying other proven funnels, other proven ads, and then just saying, okay, we're gonna run with this because we don't know what the market's going to respond to, and then we can make decisions. But using something that lots of people have put a lot of money into with advertising to kind of test and show what's working, it's just a no-brainer, really. And it's not something I've really appreciated that much, because I think it's been an ego thing, to be honest, that I've just kind of thought, oh, like I want to feel like I'm creating something new. I want that pleasure of doing something different, or thinking about putting different things together and maybe curating a funnel rather than just copying one. But it's something that I've seen has worked just so well, is taking, let's say, landing page inspiration from one creator and then ad inspiration from another creator, and then bringing it together, and then how do we funnel them to the next step, or let's look at what that creator's doing, and then putting them all together and not really trying to reinvent the wheel at all. It's been absolutely killing it for us. And yeah, this is like a 25 ROAS, which is just absurd. The next thing is, and it's kind of related to that, is the Perfect Webinar by Russell Brunson. Is called that for a reason. So we haven't been running ads to a live webinar, we've been running them to a free training. And I think I stand on that as a really good resource, or a really good funnel to run for cold advertising, because it warms people up quickly and it gives people a real reason to opt in and get interested now in the business. And obviously live webinars can run really well if you've got an audience already, people that are ready to book out time in the future in their diary. But when you're running ads to a cold audience, running them to a free training is something that I will stand behind. And it just keeps working, you know. And the reason why I say it's called the Perfect Webinar is because we've been just simply using the Perfect Webinar framework from Russell Brunson, and it's just a killer. Like, and you can condense it to a really short VSL, or you can keep it as a long live webinar. We've kind of gone somewhere in between because we're running it to an on-demand free training. And if you're not familiar with it, it looks something a bit like this. So you introduce it first, and then you go into the origin story. And the origin story is typically going to take up the first 15 minutes of that webinar. And you're going to talk about the journey that you went on to discover the big thing that you're teaching the audience on that training. So yeah, whatever it is for your business. Let's see, these birds are really loud. I'm not sure if you can still hear me. But yeah, so if you are running it for I don't know, maybe someone looking to get into buying laundromats, for example, and your big thing could be, you don't need to spend loads and loads of money, or put loads and loads of money down in order to invest in laundromats and get good passive income, you may phrase it as. So everything about that origin story is going to be framed around that, and how you discovered that, and then the eventual results. And you're going to talk about the trials and tribulations that you experienced along the way, everything like that. But yeah, that's the origin story. And lots of people will actually convert from that, and we can see it in real time. We'll see, okay, this person's opted in for the training. Oh, okay, now they've booked a call straight away. Or, oh, okay, it's taking them 40 minutes to book a call, meaning they've watched the full thing, and obviously that's a really warm lead. So following the origin story, they then go on to the internal beliefs, and handling the internal beliefs around why it may not feel like they might not feel like it's going to work for them, basically. And that's going to be one or two main internal beliefs that you're going to talk about in story format once again, and explain how you were able to handle that internal belief for yourself and overcome that. And every stop along the way, you're going to have relevant social proof. And this is something that Sam Ovens actually does really, really well in his webinar. So if you've not seen that video yet on my channel, then take a look at that as well. It's my full breakdown of his webinar. And then we handle external beliefs. So it's going to be the reasons why people don't want to go for whatever it is that you may be offering them. And it's going to be different things in different industries, of course. It could be like, oh, I don't have time, or oh, I don't feel like there's enough opportunity out there for me. It's going to be a saturated market, for example. So it's whatever you can think of that people would point at and decide not to go for what it is. And then you wrap things up and you essentially come to a pitch and close things out from there. So it's a great framework. It works really, really well, and it's based on story-based sales, so really getting people to engage in that journey with you. And when you're telling things in the form of a story, that's going to be really, really powerful. So yeah, it's the perfect webinar for a reason. The next thing is volume eases the mind. So the way we approach this is by the founder of the company. He filmed 50 different hooks for the ads that we're running. And then he filmed 4 different main sections, and then we just kept with one call to action throughout. And that meant that we know we've got 200 ads. So there's no real anxiety around, oh, okay, what do we even do if this isn't going to work? And it turned out that the first one that we wrote and put together was the one that just absolutely crushed it and got leads were coming in at £3 at one point, or like $5. But the fact that we had that volume, we had that kind of, I suppose, like ad artillery behind us, ready to be deployed and tested as and when we need to, just meant that we don't really deep it really. It's just like, okay, this ad didn't work. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one. We've got 200. Of course, we're going to find one that's going to absolutely crush it for us. So that's been one thing that I really want to take into anything else that I do in the future, whether it's for this company I'm working with or another company I'm working with. Volume eases the mind, because you don't put a lot of pressure on one thing working. Which, oh, actually, just thinking about that, like, that can be the reason why building a business can be so mentally stressful, is because you do have all of your eggs in one basket and you're just focusing on that one thing working. And I think by definition of focusing on one business, it can also stress the mind. But like, working on one business is the way to go. I've found that I've got distracted a lot in the last 5 years. The next thing is launch fast. So we didn't have perfect systems in place by any means, and I've just spent a lot of time building those systems out to make our scalability a whole lot better. As I said, we only spent about $900 on ads to make that 23,000. So we want to be able to spend a whole lot more, and because it's a system that's proven to work already. But we wouldn't know that if we spent a long time trying to get the perfect systems in place, the perfect checkout page, to go to the onboarding system, to go to this, go to this, go to this. And he already had systems in place to run for his organic audience, and they worked well enough. So we just went with those. It meant that we could then see which ads were going to perform well. If the landing page system is going to work well, it's going to convert people. And then what's going to happen when people register for the free training? How well are they going to convert from that? So we've got information about that, and I've spent a lot of time. It's been the work that I've been doing on building out the back end now. Now that we've essentially got the front end sorted and ready to scale. So I've been building out the back end with all of the automations, making sure that the data is tracked every step along the way, and so we can really make good decisions moving forwards. We brought a setter on board as well from the very start, to be honest, and that's something I'd also say is very, very, very helpful. He's been great. 2 more. Social proof makes life 100 times easier. So I mentioned earlier in the video, we've got this one ad that's just absolutely crushed it, and it's been similar to one of his organic posts that performed particularly well, and it's just led by a really good client result, to be honest. So having good client results and being able to track client results is something that is just super powerful, because I know a lot of people out there will have really good products, but they don't necessarily track the results that their clients get. So therefore, when it comes to selling more, they can't really say, oh, this person was able to achieve this, but we just say this person was able to make this much money from our system, so here's the training for it. And that kind of social proof is just going to beat some crazy copy or a viral ad hook or anything like that. I'd say probably 7 or 8 times out of 10, because you will get those outliers that just hit really, really well. But yeah, leading with a result, a powerful result like that, you don't need to be fancy with it. You're just going to crush it. And then that social proof is just sprinkled in throughout the same way in which Sam Ovens does, really, in the free training. And that's going to make the free training just that much more powerful as well. And then leading on for that, it comes to my final point. The product has to be great. So this is a very high touch point coaching program. They get unlimited one-to-one calls whenever they want as part of this program, whilst following a video course as well. And you notice the people that need more hand holding, and you notice the people that are just more self-starters in the program. And this program is the kind of one that really helps both kinds of people. And I think that's just really great, honestly. Like, a lot of coaches out there, they will say, oh, well, all of the systems and all of the processes, they got the templates, they got the training, and then it's just down to them. But this coaching company takes real responsibility for client results and will really step in if there's any chance of someone kind of derailing or not getting the results that they want. And I think a great product comes down to the ability to create a good product and distill your knowledge and be able to communicate it in a good way. But then I think the other thing that is that it just comes from care for these people and care for the results of the clients too. So I think that's something that I don't know if you can teach care in what you're going to do, but if you do have that, you're just going to be at a huge advantage. And sometimes it'll mean that you make less money, because you might say, okay, I don't want to work with this client, but over the long term, you're going to get better results for your clients. And then those better results are going to mean that you can do better advertising. Better advertising means that you can get cheaper customers and you can make a more profitable business over the long run. So yeah, those have been the lessons from $900 in spend to make $23,000 in cash collected. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.